Ninja. 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 You might want to buckle up, baby.
All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for coming on by for the Mad Awesome Show. It's basically me, myself, Calvin Awesome, and our special guest, Mort.
Cheers, man. How are you?
Evening,
Pretty
guys.
good.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Tilo, for hosting this one.
No, all good, man. All good. You still gonna be the main dude, though.
We'll see what we can do.
But yeah, if you want to get started with it, Calvin. I'm still pulling up everything. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So we're guys. For those you don't know who just turned in for the first time, maybe you guys with Mort. How do you like us to address you? I always do this after the show. We should really do it before. Is Mort fine? Do you prefer?
Mort's fine. Yeah, a lot of people some people call me Mort. Somebody call me Mort. Mort's fine. I mean, it's all a nickname in the first place. Obviously, not my real name. I don't picture every Mort I know is uglier than me. And I don't think I'm the handsomest devil, but I know I ain't Mort ugly. There's the irony behind it all. So just glad to be here, gentlemen. You can call me whatever you want. I've been called worse, I guarantee you.
All right. Well, I'll stick with Mort for at least the beginning here. Yeah, basically what we're doing here is we're doing a little bit of reflection on this last month of GEC. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened. We can address that as necessary. I don't want to spend the whole time doing that, but just talking about everyone's season, things we learned, things that we want to apply next season. We do have this change where it goes from 5v5 to 3v3 stat thing. That is a little bit awkward, but for the most part, there is still quite a bit to do. But before we do any of that, one of the I think the coolest things we can do is actually get to know our guests. So that being Mort in this case, and I've been to your streams, I've watched your videos. I kind of know what kind of player you are, but there's always more interesting stuff than that, or not more interesting stuff, but more stuff that you don't learn during those streams, or at least not in every episode. So
right.
We have some just basic questions for you, Mort. I'll get us started off on our first one. This is always my favorite. Mort, what is your favorite Star Wars character and movie? Like, and they don't have to be related. Like, they can be totally different things.
So a lot of people are surprised to hear I'm not a super Star Wars nerd. I mean, I'm 47 years old. I was like 7 years old or something like that when the first Star Wars came out. So of course I was enamored with it.
I was gonna say you're the exact age range for it.
Yes, it is. It was. I grew up on every bit of it. Superman, all the rest of them. Those were amazing. But for me, watching Darth Vader was always one of my favorites. Which is funny because I usually cater to whenever I play in the games the good side. But Darth Vader, for something about Darth Vader, always appealed to me. So that's one of my favorites. As for the movie wise, honestly, I'm kind of leaning toward like Solo. I really like Solo. I'm a big fan of Infamous Nest. And I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but I was a big fan of that movie. I think they really did a good job with that movie.
I was gonna peg you as a Rogue One kind of guy.
Nope. Yep. Yeah. Rogue One was okay. I had a good storyline, but yeah, I've been totally. I mean, with Nest and young Han, and yeah, I big fan of that one. Big fan of that.
I don't know about Tila, but I really like Solo, and I thought a lot of the negativity around it that a lot of people caught was really just a really stupid and awkward side effect of a lot of the hate that was coming off of the sequel trilogy at the time, because it only came out, I want to say 5 or 6 months after, what's the middle one? What's the second, or the number 8?
Last Jedi.
Oh, yeah, it is Last Jedi, yeah, because the last one was about the Skywalker. Yeah, it came out right after Last Wars.
Dude, knows the names, knows the order. Right there, this guy right here. True Star Wars dude, right there.
It's all Tilo. But yeah, so like it went over really poorly in the box office, Solo, because people were like boycotting it because of The Last Jedi. So I think it's amazing. Not my favorite, but it's definitely top 5 for me.
Yeah, true Star Wars fans are going to realize they get upset that it didn't go in order with everything else. But they had to make changes in order to extend the series. Sorry, guys. That's just what's got to happen. Get over it. Enjoy what you got. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm the same way. Like I consider myself like a really like hardcore Star Wars fan. Like I read the comics, the books, pretty much everything that comes out. But I don't hate on the prequel or the sequels trilogy. I think it has its flaws here and there, but Solo got the bad end of the stick when it came to that. Just like what Calvin was saying about the Last Jedi. But it in the movie itself has so much little hidden details that that you can keep watching. And you keep on getting stuff. And for anybody that's enjoying like the comic books, especially with the new run of War of the Bounty Hunters, if you like the character of Kira, really recommend you guys go check that out. I'm not going to say spoilers, but she's a monster.
Yeah, yeah. Big fan of her as well. Of course, she came out of Game of Thrones. But go on.
Yeah, they got her at the right time. Right, super cool. Teal, do you remember the next question?
Yes, sir. I finally pulled it up. Always takes me a minute. All right. So the next question for you, Mort, is other than Swoga, is there any other game that you enjoy playing?
Believe it or not, I'm in management. It's funny when people like to find out. I don't let people know what I do, just especially now because I'm streaming. That's kind of holds me back because I'm in management. You know how management can be.
Oh.
Right. If you don't behave the way at work, outside of work, etc., you get yourself in trouble. So you guys know my channel. It's not the crispest, it's not the cleanest. So I enjoyed World of Warcraft because it was a hidden world where I didn't have to worry about anything for many years. But when my son was born, he's 21 now. I quit for a while. Then when he grew up to like an age where he can entertain himself, I played again. I really do miss that game. I really like the way it was set up. There's never been a game like it since. But now, so that's all I do. Honestly, that's all I do. Anything else I do is entertain the community. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm also God.
And especially the way you play Grand Arena with your spreadsheets and everything. I bet that takes a lot. That's a lot of time right there.
A lot of work.
I was going to say, Nev brought out a point that your mic seems a little bit off. He said that might be connected to your webcam. It has like a weird.
Oh, that piece of junk. Yeah. See if I can change it.
Oh yeah, mine. I like the setup, Tilo, but when I've never used this application before, when I was connecting to it, it's actually what it defaulted to. It didn't default to my mic here. It defaulted to my webcam mic, and I had to change it actually.
Same thing happened with me. That's why I was talking. You guys didn't hear me.
See if that's any better.
Oh, 100 times.
Oh, that's a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really
beautiful. All right, let me try one more thing. Hang on.
Yeah, but what were you saying?
Get it.
I
Go
love
ahead.
that right there. but yeah, no, especially with the way you play Grand Arena, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. So I could definitely see that being your only game that you play.
Yeah,
Also,
there's a backstory to that. Go ahead, Calvin.
No, I was gonna say the way you play it also like I want to ask, and this comes up later too, but like, is it stressful? Like the way you kind of like micromanage everything, especially sometimes waiting to like the last minute, that would get to me. Like I don't think I could do that.
I am everything I've ever done in life, I've always done better under pressure.
Okay.
So something about my brain clicks. I'm a slow, methodical guy. But when I put myself under pressure, it'll take forever. Like it took me forever to get like tons of ums out of your, because my brain's always going, okay, let's think about this before we speak. But when I do Grand Arena, I mean, I'm stuck with what I think my earliest, I did 3 Grand Arenas in 57 minutes once. And I mean, it was like, there's no going. Thanks, amazing. But a real quick backstory. I started this game as a collector, sat on the couch after work, collected. And one day I remember the old Grand Arena style when it was ships included in your GP. So what they ended up doing was,
oh yeah, no, that
remember
that
way
really
back in the
screwed
day.
over a lot of people.
There were a lot of people.
So
I was
terrible,
super bloated because I collected everything, including ships, ship harder, right? So every Grand Arena I'd finish 7th or 8th every time, no matter what I would do. I was outgunned. That was 2 million. I was facing guys who were not 2 million. I'm sorry. It was at the time I was like 2.1 million. I was facing guys that were like 2.7 million and just getting hammered because ships weren't included in the game.
They weren't included in the game. They were included in the matchmaking.
They were included in the matchmaking. Yes, it was insane. So I got
all this weight that you had on your back, and you couldn't even use any of it. It's not like you invested into like a bad character, but you can still use the bad character. You can't use a ship on the ground.
Yeah, you can't. And the ships were pretty much useless, which really got to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure out a way to be good at this because I'm either quitting this game or I'm gonna be good at this because I love this game mode. So I started doing all this homework and figuring out how to do things. And that right around that time is when they changed Grand Arena and started adding ships slowly, like every other GAC and all this stuff. But that's when the light bulb went off, and I realized, okay, I could be good at this. So I was tired of sitting at 7th and 8th. So that's where it all came down from. Now I'm slowly catching up with mods and actually caring about the game and trying to teach people, etc. So I'm trying not to outrun my roster. And in the meantime, I mean, I'll be honest with you, CeeLo, I almost never use the spreadsheet anymore unless I see a guy that has outmodded me. That's usually when I use it now. So it's pretty much eyeballed now.
That's awesome.
It's a lot easier, 100% a lot easier. I still put it out there for the look and everything else in case anybody wants to learn how to use it or whatever. But yeah, for the most part, I eyeball pretty much every opponent.
And I was the opposite of you. I didn't have ships. So when they started bringing in the first ship, I was like, oh, dang, man, you guys really going to mess me up right here. I was like good with the characters. And then when they brought out 2 ships, I was like, oh, I'm still barely recovering when it comes to ships.
Man, I still don't have ships.
Come on, Calvin. How are you winning without ships?
I don't. Like, this is something that Yeti gave me crap about too. And in his own right, like I have done the bare minimum on them. Like I've gotten Negotiator and Malevolence both functioning, but after that, like nothing else is functional. And that's got to change when I go after Executor. But yeah, I have neglected to ship harder.
Yeah, it honestly, I could speak it. I could imagine what you'd be doing with good ships, Calvin. I mean, seriously, ridiculous. I remember you finishing when I first started getting serious about Grand Arena, probably a couple months in. I remember looking and seeing Bus 74 and Calvin Austin were the only 2 I remember seeing every GAC in one division or another at the top. Those are only I remember seeing it all the time. That has yet to come to a stop. This time, by the way, congratulations on the big win plus the banners. You and I, the only 2 undefeated.
Yeah, we're the only 2 who went undefeated.
Only 2 undefeated.
Time.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You realize that's the second time we were the only 2 to do it?
Yes. Yes, I do. Now that was
cheers to you.
That was really cool. No, cheers to you too, man. It was cool because whatchamacallit, Gom was really there close too, which that would have been super impressive with
Ned lost last week.
1. Yeah, no, he was in a brutal bracket. Yeah, he was in a really brutal bracket for that last one. But cheers to you, man. Like that was. I mean, I mentioned this. I think it was on the RSG stream. But like you kept me on my heels. Like if I lose one battle, make one stupid mistake, you were right there to take it.
I think you came close on one too, didn't you? Didn't you have like a Malik or something took out? You weren't sure who was going to do it on MM or something.
It's exactly what happened. This was dumb. Like this was not a. This was not a. How can I word it? Like it could have been avoided. Like it wasn't something that I needed to do. Like the team that I ended up cleaning up with, and that's actually my biggest mistake this whole round. So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. That's fine. I took a Malik against a really low geared Mandalorian team, and they just ripped me apart. Armor shred on Malik doesn't mix.
That's what it was. Yes. Okay,
it doesn't mix. And there were some other things like that. Once Malik starts to get weak enough, he becomes essentially debuff and crit proof, so that he stops affecting fear on the opponents, and they just kill them. That was So I thought I was going to lose that one because my opponent also did really well on his attacks.
And
go ahead.
No, I was just to say big shout out to both of you guys and Nev in the chat too. You guys absolutely killed it. I was all lucky from you guys from the bottom. I was like, man, I just need you guys to lose a couple.
A lot of it's matchup, and a lot of it's there's so much to this, man. I mean, anybody who doesn't enjoy this mode, I'll never understand it. I don't know. I love it. And like I said, Nev was the last one standing. There was 3 of us left that were undefeated, and Nev lost on the last day.
That really, I think, speaks a lot about the division that we were in because, like I said, you looked across the boards, and the only other person in any other division who was doing it towards the end was Gom, and we had 3 people and finishing with 2 people. I mean, that really speaks to the competitiveness in our division.
Mm-hmm. And I know when I looked at it, I was like, "Good Lord!" And I give Nev a lot of crap because he started a rivalry with me, 4 GACs ago, but he's been really doing his homework. He's been like asking people behind the scenes, can I, look at your mods? I want to see, I want to kind of mirror off of yours and blah, blah. And he's trying to learn it. So he's going to be scary one of these days. That's for sure. He's obviously pushing me harder than he ever has, which is worrisome, but I don't think I could ever catch Calvin. By the way, I love your mods. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you.
You put a lot of work into them mods.
I do. I did more so. I've done a full overread mod about one or two times, and then after like every single time I get a mod, I go and try to, or anytime I get a plus 15, I go and try to tinker with them. But yeah, that's one thing that I've encouraged everyone else to do. A general rule for mods: every crystal, whether you're a spender or not, doesn't matter. Every crystal that you put into gear, you also need to be putting that somewhere into mods. Whether it be slice of materials or refresh, doesn't matter. That's I guess where I've neglected in ships, I've made up for it in mods.
Yeah. Mods over everything.
Now I'm gonna have to go look at your ships. I need to know
they're not
how bad
good, man.
These really are. How bad these are. I need
like
to go look.
I use the bare minimum from Levelance and Negotiator, and my rebels, my Empire, even my First Order. None of it's good.
Do you feel like that's forcing you? So I'm going to reverse this interview. So I have to ask. I give Neb hell all the time because I'm a defensive player by nature.
Mm-hmm.
So being that you're always at the top, is that a feeling of having to be at the top, or is that a need because your ships can't support it? So you're forced to take your best ships on offense.
It's both. It's definitely both. I feel like I'm forced to take my best ships on offense, like you said, because to be able to take a spot anywhere near the top, you pretty much consistently have to full clear, depending on your division.
Oh yes.
But at the other end, it's not just lack of investment in like the resources, but it's lack of investment in the knowledge. Like if you were to give me a fully stacked account with First Order and Rebels and Empire, I wouldn't be able to beat someone else's ships because I don't know them. So it kind of goes both ways. Number one, I wouldn't be able to. Number two, it doesn't fit my play style.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's hard to come out of your comfort. Like for me, this is the first time I was actually surprised. I was only three battle wins behind you, which is
I think so.
Weird. When I looked at that, I was like 447 to 444. I'm like, I'm a defensive player. What's going on here? But on the other end of that, I'm usually number one in defense, and you and I think Neb beat me in defense this round.
Yeah, I think so. I knew that I was really high up there, higher than I normally am. Yeah.
Which I think is a credit to your mods for one. And I think that what people aren't realizing too with the new GAC strat or with the new layout, I know I was feeling it out. I felt like I had to go more offensive because I have a deeper bench. So I didn't put as much defense as usual like I used to because I used to dominate everybody by defense. You guys remember that. I didn't care about banners. Still don't care about banners all that much. I care about wins, and it works for me. But this time around, I actually found myself being more offensive because I could afford to with the new, I keep wanting to say strategy, the new layout of GAC. So, yeah, it definitely favors the full clear guys for sure. I know you got to be loving it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It definitely, and really a lot of the benefits to this come from still JC history, and I guess like maybe laziness on a lot of the players that I fight of not ever changing their layout because that's what allows me to be able to consistently full clear and still get a lot of holds because I know what they're gonna do. If someone were changing on me, I would have gotten screwed somewhere along the line. If they were to have changed, I either wouldn't have got the holds that I would have gotten, or I wouldn't have gotten the full clear that I would have gotten. And that's really what has made the biggest difference in GC, not just this last season, but all of them.
Yeah. The other thing, if I can, the other thing that I really envy about what you do, Calvin, is, and I think about this all the time, that my roster, it's kind of crappy. It's amazing I actually do what I do with my roster. The super bloated and everything else, but I look at yours and I think to myself, he's always going offensive, so he's got to experiment. He knows what teams are going to take out what. He's attacking with these big ones, etc. Excuse me. You're actually getting more experience every day that you chase the number one than I am, and I'm envious of that every single day. I ain't gonna lie. I'm limiting myself every day, even if I'm winning, and that's where the spreadsheet comes in to help as well. But for record, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these are just two different correct play styles. Like there's a lot of ways to play, and you really can't critique. Like I can't sit here and critique your play style. The fact that you went 36-0 over these last three seasons, and I do feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like to a certain extent, I do stick to what I'm comfortable with. But I mean, you are correct. I do have to consistently change it because new teams are coming in. Like I had to fight Bad Batch this last month, and that's a relatively new team. I don't know if that's something that you've had to come across.
They're no joke.
Oh no, yeah. Especially if they're modded correctly, they'll take a team by storm.
Ed, get that GL stuff out of here. You already made me get one. You ruined my account once. Get it out of here. I'm going for more bloat. More bloat. I'm actually on the cusp right now. I'm sitting at 5,999,997.
Oh, you gonna join us?
So I'm trying to decide overnight what I'm going to do. I'm not sure which route I'm going to go. I know the easy route is probably to go Division 3 lower end, but I'm kind of enjoying this as well. So I don't know. I'm going to think about. I'm looking at my roster and see where to go. I don't know.
So like all like the division stuff aside, I just want to do it because of GA Center. I want to have like a consistent run in the same division. That's one of the reasons why I tried to hold it off until now. There were some upgrades that I was holding back just so that I could hit it right now. And Tilo, did you hit the mark yet?
Tilo? He's frozen.
Oh, all right.
He's frozen in time. There he goes.
It is the awesome
show.
All right, there we go.
There he is.
What happened
Right
there? All right, cool. You had me nervous there for a little bit. I was like, oh no.
Yes.
No, I was too. I was like, well, I mean, once you dropped off, that's one thing. Like me and Mort, we can hold down the fort. No pun intended.
There you go. I love it.
But I was like, if the whole stream drops, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so funny. The look on his face, it was like he was enamored with what I was saying. I was like, wow, he's really interested right now. Maybe I should keep on talking. Then I realized he was frozen.
I was. No,
I love it.
But I'm with you, Mort. I'm more of a defensive player if I say it, like if I had to choose. But I feel like I'm like in the middle between you both. Like I go defense, but at the same time, like for the majority of the time, I go full clears. So it's just a give or take because I put a crazy defense down. But
it says a lot about your mods too. But I mean, you look at some of the best players out there. Gom loves to play defensive. He loves to experiment and play defense.
It's his style. Like
it's his style.
That is what suits him.
It's what you perfect, right? So you, Zareth, you guys have perfected and going in for the full clears, right? Nev, no offense, still trying to get his feet wet. He's almost there. I always call him the greedy one. I said, I'll always beat you, Nev, because you're greedy. I'll always beat you because you're greedy. You better get them banners, Mort. Nope, I don't need those banners because you're going to lose once. So that's all I need is for you to lose once. And he almost got through this one. So I give him hell about it all the time.
Do you call him greedy because he always tries to...
Always goes for the full clear, no matter what.
Okay, yeah.
No matter what. And once in a blue moon, it makes sense to look at it and go, you know what? I don't think I can beat this guy. My roster can't handle it. So that's just my opinion. Maybe it's my roster. But Calvin, yours probably not because your mods are really freaking good.
Calvin's are crazy.
But I agree with you more because especially in the lower accounts, the chances of you finding an opponent that has a team that you just can't beat is very possible. And if someone puts down a team that you just can't beat, you absolutely have to go defense heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're I guess like you were saying, you're just getting kind of greedy if you're not. And I'm not saying that's Nev or anything, but that is a reality that a lot of players have to accept. And it's not a fun reality. No one doesn't want to, I mean, maybe someone, but like I imagine that most people don't want to not full clear.
And I'd like to point out too, like ever since Nev started this rivalry, you started it, Nev. I'll even during my GACs, I'll purposely lose battles just to say we're not going out with a full clear and not losing a battle. And we'll go and throw Jawas or something and say, for Nev. And I call it all the time. So about half my battle losses are just for Nev.
All for Nev. I'm sure he appreciates that.
That's how confident I am when I'm in a confident win. I'm like, this is for Nev.
And I mean, again, a lot. Most of your wins, you would say, are confident because of when you do your attacks. Yeah, like you know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, and the one thing I try to do, which I see a lot of people not do, and it disappoints me, and I think it limits people, is everybody's like, I'm gonna take Ray against First Order. I'm gonna take Ray against Bounty Hunters. Right? I'm like, I'm not taking Ray against Bounty Hunters. I'm taking Ray somewhere else. I want to take Night Sisters against bounty hunters. I want to take something to work and make sense, something different, so that I can expand my knowledge base of what can beat what and take some chances. Another reason why I like to use the spreadsheet, because when I use that spreadsheet, I am way more confident. I know I can lose battles, can afford to, and I can experiment, like Wolf would say, science. So I try not to use the standard counters to beat at least half the teams. That's my goal when I go into a GAC. I want to beat something different. Obviously, the GLs changed that, and that's why I'm anti-GL. But it is what it is. I got one now.
You got SLKR, yeah?
Yeah, I got Slacker, and started out, didn't fail the mission at all, and all of a sudden failed like 3 out of the last 6, and I'm getting pissed. But yeah.
That's for the,
some of it
was
was part of it was not having the mods on when I thought I did, stuff like that. Whatever, it's fine. Yeah.
But it should be nice though, especially even with the changes to the GLs and everything. Now it's going to be really important, those B, C level teams like your gases, Darfur Evans. Being able to counter those with stuff that's a little bit cheaper, that's going to give you a really, really beneficial edge on your opponent.
Yeah, and I mean, I got smoked with my Slacker non-ultimate the other day against a gas that almost cost me a GAC. So that really got under my skin. I knew I played it wrong right when I played it wrong, but I was like, you know what? If I put this much investment into this guy, I shouldn't be able to play it wrong. And I shouldn't be able to play it wrong. So that kind of got under my skin a little bit, but I ended up winning anyway. It's no big deal. No big deal. Oh, bad note too. I ended up losing on the alt. My streak is over. I think Calvin, yours is still running. The 82 on the baby account. The guy opened Slacker between round 3 and round 4, and obviously couldn't beat it. And I made a planning mistake, which I don't normally do. I had one chance to beat him, but yeah, 82 in a row. She's done. But that's all right.
That's tough.
That's all right.
That's a good score, though. Yeah.
I mean, that's really good.
Yeah.
Really, I think anything. I mean, even a full season, and I guess it depends on who you are, but even a full season to me is super impressive. Like going 12-0, that's awesome. Like there are 12 people that lost to you, so 82 is absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what are you up to now, Calvin?
I stopped counting once I passed Zareth's alt. I think I'm somewhere in the 115 range.
Dare you? How dare you stop counting? Brag, man. You earned it. Brag.
I can look it up later, but that was the goal. Like I'm okay with losing now. I'm okay with losing now at least once.
So let me ask you this: 3v3 or 5v5? Which do you prefer now?
We should be asking you these questions, but
I know I'm reversing it. That's the reason I'm asking, though.
Hit you with that Uno card real quick.
So
yeah.
I like 5. I like 5s more as an enjoyment for the obvious excuse that it is what it's what the game was made to be. I recognize 3v3 is a real game, but I'm not going to make that argument. But 5v5, it's what I enjoy more. It's what I feel like I can use more counters, more of my roster in. 3v3,
more natural. Yeah. See, I'm the same way.
I always do better in 3v3.
3v3, 5v5. Which one are you better at? That's a great question.
Okay.
I'm about the same. I'm Mr. Solid 11-1. Doesn't matter what 5v5 or 3v3.
Mr. Like Solid 11-1.
11-1. That's my score. You can just chalk it up.
I love it. It's something about 3v3, man. Oh my God, there's something about 3v3. It's just I don't know if it's. I know there's some laziness with people not showing up, but I'm not seeing a lot of that recently on my main. But like 61 wins in a row on one account, 46 on the other, and until recently, I had 50-some in a row. It's crazy.
It's people, not just. And I actually haven't had this last 3v3. I didn't have a single auto deploy, or I think I
didn't either.
One. Yeah, I think I only had like one person just not attack, and it's because I think it's because I attacked right at the beginning. But people have, and this has gone on for a long time, they have refused to show up to it as a game mode and accept that their counters, their teams, their strategy needs to change. Tons of people, I would say the vast majority of the player base has refused to learn 3v3. And so for those of us who have, we just slaughter people.
And big shout out to Wolf over here with the raid. Appreciate you, man. How's everything going with you guys? But I'm with you guys, though. I think 3v3, I know people don't accept it, but it rewards creativity and also knowing the kits. If you can figure out a team that might not make sense on your first look, but on paper, the kit and the characters themselves really synergize and could really get you some good holds.
Oh,
I'm gonna defer away from that and say all lies because I love 3v3. I'm dominating it. I don't know the kids for squat. So,
Well, but it's something different. Like everybody knows, let's say that Bossk is a great bounty hunter leader, and like in every game mode, like in TB and Conquest and GAC 5v5, etc. But then you get to 3v3, and now you've got like 10 bounty hunters, and you need to have a second lead. So there are a lot of people that have experimenting with other things, and that like what we're saying, that experimentation really pays off. And whereas a lot of people are just like, I don't care. I'm just gonna try this. Oh, it didn't work. I'm not gonna remember. I'm not gonna write it down. It is what it is.
Appreciate
right.
you, Mort.
I'm gonna stop being the host now. Go ahead. You guys can hammer me. I had to throw that out there. I'm dominating 3v3.
I'm liking it.
So you are, dude.
So, it feels so good.
And I like I said, I don't think it's without accident. I think that that is time and investment that you put on more than the people that you're going against.
Yes. Oh, 100%. And if it ever stopped paying off, I would stop doing it or I'd make a change. This is the first GAC center I was undefeated. The third GAC center I was undefeated. The second GAC center I was undefeated till the last week and took 2 hits, but that was the same week that something happened in my personal life and my guild exploded. So it was a rough. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but I was definitely not in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think
So
Chilo's experienced that more than I have, but that is definitely a big deal.
Yeah.
And appreciate you, amazing for the cheers, and Mort too.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate it wholeheartedly. I mean, the upside is for once I get to be on top of Calvin. Look at the screen, guys. I'm on top of Calvin. This is the one time I'm gonna be on top of Calvin.
There's a joke I can't. Yeah, we'll just move on from there.
He wants to so bad. All right, go ahead. Moving on.
Made it too easy right there. Way too easy.
Oh yeah. All right. So we still have more questions for you about who you are, etc. I think I already know the answer to one of these, so we'll just confirm it and kill it. GAC is your favorite game mode, yes?
Wholeheartedly. There's nothing like it for me.
Okay, so that's a good question. Other question: why did you start playing? You mentioned in the beginning you got into collecting. What was the big motivation behind this, though? You said you have kids. I don't know if I know a lot of people like the game a lot because it's very convenient that you don't have to sit down for 5 hours at a time. You can do it 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, to think about that one.
That's I don't know. That's a tough one. I may have heard the question wrong too. Say it again, Calvin, just so I get it right. Make sure I don't say something stupid.
Why did you start playing? Why did you start playing Galaxy of Heroes?
So I kind of answered that earlier. I was kind of bored, looking for something to do, looking for a different game. I almost left the game. Tried MSF, tried the stupid Disney one. Stupid. Yeah, that lasted like 4 days. But I just kept trying different ones. But I do enjoy Star Wars, but I like the turn-based order games. I was a Final Fantasy guy growing up, so that made a lot of sense to me. But the more I play this, and the more, I do need more apple juice. Thank you. Actually, I got grape juice. That's a problem. The more I play it, the more I appreciate how much, and I say this all the time, 210 characters, 60-some ships or whatever, and every ability's got to interact with every ability. I don't envy the guys that make this game when they have to nerf stuff. It's unavoidable. They're gonna have to nerf it. Something's gonna interact wrong. But learning all this stuff is so intriguing to me. It's so intriguing to me. It really is. And then you put in the strategy part of things, which I'm a numbers guy wholeheartedly. I love strategy. I'm a common sense guy. You hand me English, like be a lawyer, get that out of here, doctor. Get that out of here. But you give me something common sense or strategy, or you need me to fix something, I'm all over it. And that's what I love about this game. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And like you said, Calvin, there's so many ways to do it and still be good at it. Still be good at it.
No, 100%. I completely agree with you. It's strategy. You can do everything. We can all have the same roster, but it's how you mod it, how you use it, and it really makes it diversitize everything. That's why I think even with the content creators versus the devs, even though they're going to have the same mods, the same characters, depending on the mind that has that roster and that sort of mods, you could do so much different stuff with it.
Yeah. Yes. And there are multiple ways to mod one guy. Look at Gas.
Yeah.
Multiple ways to handle him, depending on what you want to use him for. Yeah. Master. Yeah, exactly. GMY. There's so many different ways to mod different people, and I'm not a fan. I've always played a balanced roster. I've never been a fan of having to, and that's why I've never bloated. I see people say, "Oh, you got to mod Shock T just for this, or, for the cam mission and blah blah." And when I get to that point, that's great, and that's what I'm being forced to do now, because the game is forcing us to Relic 8. I want my ship. I want my damn ship, plain and simple. So I'm being forced to go after the Sea Pit now, pushing my roster up into the R5s. I've always kept, I don't want to say a bus 74 standard because I didn't learn that from him. I've always done that type, not as tightly wound as he was, but being forced to do that, I'm not a big fan of it. I like to keep my rosters balanced, usable for every situation. That's just me.
I think you're more min-max than you're a sandbagger.
Yes.
Like I think that's where we draw the line, because a sandbagger wouldn't get a GL. A min-maxer will.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm going to limit the amount that I get to, because it took me 7 months or something to get a GL. I'm like, and I did it on 2 accounts at the same time. I need a break. Yeah, I need a break. I'm going to go back to enjoying the game again.
That is one of the nice things that is kind of, I guess maybe not with R8, but that is one of the things that kind of felt like that was happening for a while, is with the amount of GLs they're adding to the game. It's eventually just going to get a point where if you have a bunch of characters, you're already going to be halfway to a bunch of them. The twist on that they do with Lord Vader that is the reason why I'm not going for him, is they're taking all the characters that everyone already has and they're pushing them to R7, R8. Like Newt's a great character. I don't want him R7.
No.
And Ark's a great character. I don't want him R8. Like that, and I mean that can be said about 10 of the characters for Lord Vader. I'm not a fan of that.
No, I'm not either. At all. Forcing me to R8 is very frustrating, because I've never dogged CG, but I'm going to dog them a little bit for this one, because before they catered to the whales. Now you're getting to the point now where you're catering to everyone is going to have to commit to high relics in order to get anywhere. Once they start reaching a certain point, 4 million, 3.5 million, whatever it may be, those days are changing. And that irritates me a bit. I've always enjoyed the fact that I can play my roster, not outrun my mods. That was always my number one thing. Bloated roster, don't outrun your mods. If you outrun your mods, you get your butt whipped. Plain and simple.
And that's, I think the way you word that is perfect. Don't let your account outrun your mods, because I think that's what a lot of people do, particularly spenders. And
yes,
please, thank you for spending the game. Anyone who's dropped any amount of cash, that's awesome. Don't want to discourage it at all. I'm not here to hate on pay to play.
Absolutely.
But that is one of the, I think, the fatal issues that they end up running into with GAC is they'll put a lot into their account and it'll outrun their mods, and they kind of just get hosed.
Yep. You're already naturally going to outrun your Zetas. So, which is okay. You can get away without certain Zetas. You can. If you can mod properly. So if you're going to spend on mods, man. Like you were saying earlier.
100%.
Spend on mods.
You can get a huge advantage in GC if you put money into mods.
Yep. You use your free crystals to get energy and then spend your money on 3 refreshes a day on mods, you'll be money.
Characters change, mods never do. So it doesn't it's the best investment you could do to the game.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yep.
And if you talk to any of these guys with like 8 million accounts, all these top guild members, all they're going to say is all they use their crystals for, their payouts, is for mods. They go as high as they can in refreshes, and that's really the difference maker, because they all have everything. It's the mods that really just separate the best from the worst.
Yep. 100% agree. There's some things you can get around. I did it for a long time without. I just literally about 8-9 months ago got serious about my mods and was still winning, but it was getting to the point where I realized, you know what? This ain't going to last long. I can only do this for so long.
More characters, more problems.
And now that they doubled shard drops, that means they've doubled the amount of speed that I can bloat my account, which means it cut my mod time in half. So now I'm chasing even harder to go after mods. And people need to realize that. And purples,
that's an interesting
Omegas,
I never thought about that. I mean, your math is obviously correct. That had never occurred to me. That has to affect the new player experience a lot.
Yep.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been spreading the word out about a lot, and I've been meaning to do a video on it actually. But man, people are outrunning them constantly, and especially the spenders when they come in brand new. My favorite guy to play is the guy that comes in spending like on my baby account. That comes in spending like crazy, doesn't have Zetas, doesn't have mods on it. It's the easiest thing in the world.
SLCR with 1 Zeta on it.
Yes, exactly. Come at me, bro. I'm happy to have you. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
All right, so again, continuing on with thank you, Mort, for telling us a little bit about yourself. We're gonna move into more of the, I guess as the Bureaus would say, the hard meat of our show, which is basically talking about the highlights from the last season. Just go over a few things that happened. We're not going to obviously go through match per match. So we would be here for like 5 hours. Just some specific things. And I can actually start off with the first one because I already said it.
I'll hit you up with the intro first before we get started with the season
Okay,
highlights.
go for the intro. Sorry, too. I need to get used to that.
All my work, I'm like, I got to put these out.
What's good, people? I'm C2 and I'm the interrogation droid, and these are the Grand Arena season highlights.
Perfect.
All
right, that cutscene though.
All right, you're good, Calvin. Let's go.
All right, cool. Yeah, no. So highlights. First thing that I always want to mention, because I think this is something we can learn a lot from, is what was your biggest mistake this last specifically in these last 12 matches this last season. I already said mine. I took a Malik. This is dumb. I tried to take a solo Malik in against a weak Mandalorian team. It was Bo, Candy, and Armor, and they just shredded me. Like I could not get them down fast enough. And then once they got enough armor shred, enough Beskar on the characters, I just lost. So biggest mistake, don't do that. Tilo, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'll go. My biggest mistake is obviously my one loss. It sucked. Everything played well. I stripped my opponent from banners. It's just, I wouldn't even say it's too much of a mistake, but I took Night Sisters against GG, which I had done pretty much all season. I know it's a risky battle.
Oh, that generally works, though.
It generally does, but what happened was I had Plague on B1 and B2 at the same time. So B1 takes a turn. He dies from the Plague. So GG gets a turn. Then it happened that B2 took another turn before any of my Night Sisters went. So GG took 2 turns right back to back, and he took out my Daka. And then after that, there was no recovery. So I lost banners right there. And then I went into ships, and what usually is a really, really simple fight. What did I use? It was against this Hodo, and I used First Order. And I know sometimes it can get a little sketchy, but usually I end up with the win anyways. But I failed on that one, and I lost by 7 banners in that fight. And we both, went really low in banners, but 7 banners was heartbreaking. I was like, that's my 12-0 season. I was looking forward to a top 50 finish, and just messed me up right there.
As for me, my main, I was actually super impressed. I should say impressed. Super excited about 2 battles I should have lost that I ended up outsmarting the guy. So my only mistake was the one I referenced on my baby account. Not enough sleep. Maybe a little too far in the bag. And then, as Ed would put it, I actually got greedy. I was tired. I looked at the GL and I'm like, okay, I could probably beat it. It's not. It's only a G10. I was wrong. I should have set my DR on defense. We would have split. Would have been more efficient. I had him in ships. It was my own dumb move, and I've never done that in GAC ever. And I blame the new system. I got greedy. I never get greedy. It's my cardinal rule, and I got greedy. I should be 84 in a row right now, and I got greedy.
Ooh, that's tough.
Neb, you bit me.
No, I mean that's all. Those are all great things to learn from, and fortunately, Teal, those sketchy matches. I mean, sometimes you just have to take them. Like if you're up against a good opponent, which in the end, I guess there isn't any shame in losing to a good opponent.
Yeah. You know, he definitely was. It was 4 GLs versus 4 GLs. So
I sent you a. Sorry, Tilo. I sent you a screenshot. I don't know if you can share it or not, but this was one of my my most exciting wins of this GAC, and it came out exactly the way I planned it. It was the only way I could win. I don't know if it's shareable or not, but you could see the end result.
There you go. That's the end result. Oh man.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's big time right there.
That was exactly the way I planned it out. It was actually turned out better than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I knew I wasn't going to get through gas. I knew I wasn't going to get through DR. So, well, actually, I had enough to get through one, but not both. So, slam the defensive wall up, set them up right, set the right teams. And again, this came down to laziness as well, too. This is laziness on his part, letting me know what he's going to do.
I'm sorry. That's hilarious. You've got all both your best two teams on defense, and then you just wiped them in banners.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nope,
that was actually a really nasty defense, though. What'd you put down?
It was first order, all three of them. Actually, no. Sorry, the bottom one had.
Let me pull it back up.
Newt GBA B1. I think I'm trying to remember what it was. It was 2 first order. DR Padme. I gave him 1 semi-soft team, but outside of that, it was basically I'm smarter than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm gonna outbeat your teams. What you got? He had good mods as well. I mean, it was one of my favorite wins of all time. It sucked for viewership, but anybody who actually appreciates a good defensive thought, I mean, it was a huge win.
I feel you on that. I had a fight. I don't want to say similar, but another guy with four GLs versus 4 GLs, and he placed all 4 GLs on defense. So he was basically banking on me not getting through any zone. So all I did was just take 3 GLs for offense, put one on the bottom zone. He couldn't clear the bottom zone, and I was able to clear the bottom zone on his, and then I got the win.
And that's just simple math. Simple math. Yeah. It really was. Yeah.
And it basically was a trend that he did too from the beginning of the season. So it made it simple for me.
The funny part about that defensive strategy that I use, I'm looking at my notes now, and it says he blocks both fronts and teams I might not be able to take down. He sets a full cock block D. I have to beat his DR with Darth Vader, or it's an efficiency battle. I knew I wasn't going to beat it with my DR or my Darth Vader because the speed matchups. And then ships were up in the air. So it was literally like planned out to this entire thing, knowing I probably wouldn't get through it and win it. So, yeah, that was probably my proudest of this round.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially when you beat them in the mind game. When you don't really is not about on the board or in the game itself. It's way before the game even started.
Well, and you beat him at his own game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dude's strategy is I'm going to put two walls up that you can't beat, and then I'll just clear whatever you put down, and I'll win. And all you did was you did the same thing, except you did it better.
So I don't know about you guys from your roster standpoint, but these guys are my nemesis. So they're the ones that usually are the ones that I struggle with, because they put up the 2 big teams that I cannot beat, and then I gotta set up a big wall and pray they can't get through. That sucks because of my lower relic levels. That is the one guy that hurts me every time because I stay low relic levels.
Mine are the efficiency.
Another proud.
The super duper efficiency ones, because I put a lot of my heavy hitters on defense. So when it comes to offense, I have to be perfect, or just hope that I can strip enough banners to where it's like they failed. But if not, I get really jacked up, and those are the ones I end up losing. The super efficiency ones where they have 4 GLs and they just take them straight to defense.
Very cool. Hey, Calvin, I'm going to put my interview face on again. What got you into this game? What got actually better yet? What got you so good in this game? Take off the humble pie. Take off the humble pie. Just say it. Just come on out. Come on. Take off the humble pie.
Calvin.
What got me into this game is I am maybe similar to you. I'm a numbers person. I'm an accountant by trade. I work as an auditor. I sit at a screen looking at numbers, trying to find patterns and errors all day long. And that's ultimately kind of what the game is. The game is a system of numbers, and you have to find which ones go in the best places in which best way. And furthermore, the game is, for me, the game that I play, I do love GAC because it's kind of where I get to show off. But what I'm showing off isn't necessarily just the strategy of it. It is the inside game of resource management. Like that is really the most fun part of this for me. Where's the best place to get a mod? Yo, Red Sox, good to see you, man. Colin got him. Yeah. No, but it's the resource management within it, and you've tapped into this on a huge level with the relic levels. Like knowing what is the best bang for your buck in GP, and that's kind of a similar thing that I've enjoyed doing. Yeah, I mean that is I think the number aspect is definitely what really got me into it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I think GAC really clicked for me when I realized that it was something that I could totally optimize that fit with me. Like I was the kind of guy before GAC, if I didn't use a character, I didn't mod them because it bugged me.
Yeah,
it bugged me to know that I had 6 mods that I was going to burn credits on, to put them on, to take them off, or when I get a new character, then my D tier mods that were on Ewok Scout, I now need them on this Bad Batch Echo. Like I hated that. I still hate that to this day. That level of optimization, once JC came in, there was an actual tangible benefit from it, and it just exploded.
Well, you know what's funny? I actually I'm good at reading people too. And the one thing I hear you say is I wanted to show off. And it wasn't even about showing off, because it's not that I'm cocky, I'm good, but I know why you wanted to show off. Because in the back of your head, all the work that you put in, all the effort that you put in to make your account this good, you want to show that off. It's not even about being good. It's about, look at all this work that I've put in. You're an accountant by trade. You already said it, but this is 100%, man. Check this out. You're never going to say it because you're too humble, but check out what I have done. I have taken countless hours to do this. You know what I mean? That feels good. That does feel good to show off. Is there a little bit of cocky because you're good and you understand how things work? Absolutely. But yeah, 100%. You've earned that, man. 100%. You know, say it.
No, I think you probably described it better than I could. Like I want to take the investment that, like you said, put hours into shaping this, and I want it. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I will not. I would agree with everything you just said.
I have molded this awesomeness. All pun intended.
Calvin's like Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
That's big
basketball reference.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best power forward of all time.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can't disagree.
That as a compliment.
Yeah. He just kept molding teams and teams and teams and teams. He was a key piece over and over. But
was he a coach?
No,
player. No, he was a player. Okay. Power forward / center. Yeah, he was a really good player. Really good player.
Yeah. But solid guy, real humble guy, and championships.
Yes. So. Yeah. Super nice, quiet guy. Actually, it's funny you say that, Till. He does remind me a lot of Tim Duncan. He really does.
I see it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% agree. A lot of people think that I'm arrogant and cocky and everything else. I'm not. I'm afraid to lose. I know I'm not great at this game. I know for a fact you two know the kits better than I do. Everything I do, I work from a different direction in order to be successful. But like I said, and I talked about it before, and I try to teach people this: don't outrun your mods. That's key number one thing. Don't outrun your mods. Figure out what relics are smart to relic up to the top. The game is going to force you to take certain characters up to certain points. But are you ready to make that move? Are you ready to make that move, or are you not? Mort is more of an Allen Iverson. Nice. Thanks, Kmart. But it depends on your play style, where you're at in your game, how your mods look, how your gear looks. I mean, I've seen so many different things. Like, I am always outgunned in G12s. I might be actually outgunned slightly in relics, but I'll always be outgunned in G12s because I hated the Sith raid for years. Hated it. I've only been playing about 3.5 years. How long have you been playing, Calvin?
3.5 as well.
Yeah.
Same.
Tilo?
Yeah.
Same.
And I think that's what really helps us too. We get to see all these guys that were here before us, like Zareth, like Gom, like Solo, all these guys that were playing since day one that have made the mistakes on their account. Not even mistakes, but like things that they regret, and then now we don't have to do them. We can benefit from that.
That's a huge thing. That is a huge thing. Especially, again, we were talking about resource management and what Mort was saying, taking certain characters up to the right relic levels. We have a pretty big advantage there, like a pretty significant advantage there. I was talking about this recently on one of my last streams about HK47. Like when the Sith Empire team first came out, HK47 was what everybody had in their mind as the natural fit, as the best fit for that team. After the game was developed more, with relics having a really strong tendency to go towards just raw offense, with requiring Sith Marauder for C. Marauder is now the optimal fifth for that team. Like, and I don't my HK is not R5 with 2 Zetas. I don't have that dead weight, if you will. He's gear 12. And now I have the full freedom to go right after Marauder.
Yep. I'm all for it. I don't need HK to kill JKR anymore.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I don't need it. And so there is the benefit of coming from the backside sometimes. Yeah, I said it. All pun intended. Still keeping it clean. Next question.
That's right at the line we like, Mort. Just enough to know, not enough to visualize it. Yeah, all right. So next question, moving kind of on here. Who is, and maybe if you guys remember this, if you can't, that's fine. Who's your smartest opponent and why? There's always a time where I feel like every season where maybe one or two opponents will stick out where like this guy can beat me.
I'll go first. My guy was actually, I think it was week 3, round 2. I remember because he scarred me. Really good player. He only had 3 GLs to my 4 GLs, but just smart teams that he put down. You could tell that he was a pretty good player. One of the teams that really caught me slipping was Dengar lead with Vandor, Chewy, and L3. It may not seem like much, but
Dengar lead's coming into style.
Yes, and I've always liked Dengar lead. I used him a lot for cleanups on some pretty tough teams even when he was like gear 11. But that team was nasty. I took my BAM team against it because I knew I had to take in some pretty heavy offense against it. Just because of the lack of crit damage from Dengar's lead, or crit chance. So I was like, okay, I'll just take in Whistling Birds. And even in 3v3s, they don't get enough Whistling Birds like they do in 5v5, but I'm still able to wipe teams off the map.
That's a good thought process, though. If you take away your crit damage, taking a character that does true damage.
So I was like, okay, cool, we'll do that. I go in there, and I'm like,
he's
okay,
smarter than me.
I have to take out Vandor Chewy because he's gonna res everybody. So I go straight after Vandor Chewy, and this man takes absolutely no damage. It was crazy. Just a reduction of damage from Vandor Chewy's kit,
that's right,
mixed with Dengar's kit, and then L3 was constantly taunting. They timed me out. I had to go in there and take JKR against it. It was a nasty, nasty, nasty squad. But that was just one of the teams that he put down. It was a really, really good mix of his roster, really good, solid defense to offense ratio, and really gave me a run for my money.
I guess I'll go. So I don't actually recall anybody being smarter than me or being better than me outright. There was one guy in particular. There's a couple of guys I thought I should have never won, but I ended up winning. But there was one in particular that will always stick in the back of my mind. It was my own damn fault. It was during that stretch where I was telling you my guild collapsed and I lost those 2 in the same week. I had the guy beat. My plan worked. I had him. All I had to do was go in, finish one night sister team. It was the last one. These guys could all tell you. Oh my God, the look on my face. It's clipped somewhere. I went in. I never used Gideon before, truly. I normally would have used Bounty Hunters, and I was like, you know what? Bounty Hunters can get a little bit iffy with Night Sisters. I'm going to take them in. I go in with Gideon. It's only like a gear 8 or gear 9 Gideon. I'm like, I'll just remove the turn meter, wipe out these Night Sisters, no sweat. Totally didn't realize the kit part of Rampage where she gets all that extra speed, like up to 120 speed. She decides to, Saj gets the first turn, one shot Gideon. I almost recovered somehow in 3v3. Maybe it was 5v5. It was 5v5. Almost recovered it, ended up losing that battle and the GAC from that stupidity on my part. Even though I beat a guy that I shouldn't have beat, I was so mad. That's the one that stands out to me. That's the one that stands out. The last battle of the GAC, one shot's Gideon. Basically, it's over. I almost wiped him out with the rest of the troopers, but it came this close. That one hurt. He got me.
I've definitely had that happen before. Specifically, we're seeing with Asajj because I think she gets 15 speed per enemy that doesn't. It's either a buff or D. I want to say it's a buff. Yeah, I think it's a buff because Boba Fett kind of counteracts it. So like it's really hard to get in front of her unless you're really, really fast or their mods are just terrible.
Mm-hmm. The worst part about that is I wasn't even rushed. You know how my new GACs are normally rushed? I had time. I smoked through this guy. The whole plan worked. And I was like, Bounty Hunters, Gideon. Bounty Hunters, Gideon. And I was like, you know what? Let's try Gideon. This can't fail.
But
Yeah,
but
that
that's
was
how
rough.
3v3 is though. You can go through the 3v3 match and you're like, okay, let's go.
I'm thinking back. It was actually 5v5. It was 5v5 because I wouldn't
Oh,
have
it's
done Gideon
5v5.
in 3v3. Yeah, I just in essence, everybody was yelling at me. Assange is like 320 speed in that lineup, and your Gideon's only 253. I mean, he's only gear 8. I'm like, yeah, okay, I didn't know that. All right, moving on. I lost.
Now I do. I'll remember
know.
next time.
Yeah, I have not forgotten. That's one of them hard lessons. I have not forgotten.
I think my smartest opponent this round, just shifting gears, was a guy, and this ultimately was cockiness on my part that totally backfired. It should have. Like I deserved for him to get this close to beating me. I put down he didn't have anything in his roster that could beat JMK Cat. Like looking at it on like the basis of it, he didn't have C and he didn't have SLKR, and he usually put JML on defense. So I was like, all right, his JMK was I think gear 10. So he didn't have really anything that could have beaten mine. So I put it down on defense, and then I left almost virtually nothing. Like the rest of the stuff, I think I had CLS. And the rest of the stuff was pretty much riffraff, like kind of like Night Sisters, whatever. So I go in, I beat him, but then I'm watching him. All right, he's not going to get through JMK. One shots it for 53 banners, and I'm just like, oh crap. And of course, my cockiness got the better of me. I went in and I checked. His Jedi Master Luke was faster than my JMK, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So he was able to get out in front. He was able to ability block everyone, and he just screwed my cat from that. And that I ended up seeing a history. That is exactly what he did later on. So that was by far the smartest opponent. Like he had one possible team in his entire roster that could have done what he did, and he knew what it was.
Yeah.
He ended up like this is where ultimately Mod saved my butt because he tried to take in a bunch of his B teams that he was used to beating other B teams, but the speed mods on a lot of them ended up screwing him up. Like I think my Mon Mothma got a hold against this Treya, which is funny. And that, that's
amazing.
That ended up sealing the win. Like, JMK CLS he destroyed, but Mon Mothma saved me.
What are the other two tombs you put on it on that Mon Mothma team?
For 3v3, and I stand by this hardcore. The best Mon Mothma team in 3v3, I don't have it. It's Cassian and K2. After that, it's Kara and Scout.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's the most turn meter manipulation you can get. The Wedge and Biggs is actually super viable. Way more than it is in 5v5. And 5v5 is, in my opinion, it's a bad team. In 3v3, it's really good.
Yeah.
But I think after K2 and Cassian, the one I like the most is Scout and Kara.
Yeah, that one's fun.
That.
And I love them when they go take their Treya against it. And you see on the history, Treya or all Mon Mothma had life like this. It was still in the red. All of them were in the red.
You know what team they used when that one pops back up.
Yeah. It's like, oh, dog, you messed up. You
and then they go in again and it gets healed. That's always funny.
Yeah, that thing always makes me laugh.
All right, guys. Well, the next topic we have for, again, these last season highlights. What was a new team or a new, and this can be 5v5 or 3v3, doesn't matter. What is a new team or a new modding for a character, for a team that you discovered that you're going to be implementing from this last season? Maybe it was something an opponent used or something you saw and you needed to apply it to your account now to be able to counter it. A good example was last season I did this to Chewbacca. I changed him tenacity because I realized now the way I'm running my my teams is I need CLS to be gas.
Tell me, let's take that one. I'm actually logging in because I have a team. I forgot what it was.
I'm probably going to do that tonight, set up all my teams. Or maybe I might do that tomorrow. I might stream tomorrow and try to figure out all the teams I'm going to use for 5v5. But for 3v3, I think it had to be my opponent's team, the one I talked about earlier, that Dengar, Vandar Chewie, and L3. You don't know how close I've been to wanting to gear up my Vandar Chewie because of that team. That thing gave me nightmares, especially after I fought it. So
I fought a Dengar team and I can't remember what it was, but I'm defensively I'm really enjoying my Newt B1 Brood Alpha. So I'm really enjoying that squad in particular. It's gotten a hold. I'm pretty sure 10 out of 12 minimum, maybe even 12 out of
I
12
don't doubt it.
versus my opponents. But my Brute Alpha is also running 280. So, and my Brute hits like a damn truck.
That's
But
nice.
yeah, that's the big one for me. I just added the 2 Zetas to Bando, even though he's gear 8 only. And but yeah, that right now that's the big one for me. That one's getting me a ton of holds, surprising people, which is amazing to me. I know you could put a Django variant on that too, but yeah.
How you run the Django? The Django's nasty too.
Yeah.
I think what you said is the most important. It's a good team, obviously, but what you said is it surprises people, and that's it. Because that team requires what I call an A- team to take out, and which any A- team will kill it. But most people will take it. Anything else, I think, will generally kill a nuke team. They'll take in JTR, they'll take in bounty hunters or whatever, and those teams do not work. You have to bring in something like Jedi Revan. You have to bring in Han and Chewie, something of higher caliber. And even if most people have the roster to do it, they won't think to. They'll lose. You win.
Well, here's the other part of that too, right? For mine, which makes it even more surprising. My Newt is gear 8, while my B1 and my Alpha are gear 3 and 4.
But you know what? Newt
they can't touch that Newt. They cannot touch that Newt. He's fast.
Even if they can, if they can get a kill on him, he's coming right back.
He's coming right back.
Stealth.
Yeah,
and that's enough time for B1 and GB8 to mess you up.
Yeah, and when you had the Vader variant, when he was taking out these Geos easily, it was a little bit easier to get rid of Alpha and get rid of those Geos. So it's a little bit harder to give up Alpha now, and I'm considering going with the Django variant now, but it's doing work for me right now. I'm loving it.
But Newt's one of those characters. He always, like, even at low gears, he might be even better, especially at like a gear 12. That's one of the things that really makes me sad about the Lord Vader requirements. Because you kind of want this dude to be a little bit soft, because you want him to die. You want him to trigger those GG abilities. And
I agree.
I agree.
Oh. Yeah.
So he's nice, especially at gear 8.
The GG squads, especially in 3v3, are basically this. You don't expect them to get more than one hold. If they do, fantastic. But like this new team, I expect to get hold after hold after hold. I've only been full clear twice in the last 7 months. The one guy this round on my main, if it wasn't for me, I actually planned to put that new team in the rear and keep that hold. He full cleared me all the way around the bend, got to the rear, had 7 attempts on that guy. 7 attempts on that guy. Couldn't full. That was the difference from a full clear, was that team.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh, I don't doubt it, because again, people will bank on something like JTR, not hating on her, but they'll bank on something like that being it, and she won't.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're screwed.
Mm-hmm. I got a couple more too. One for offense. It goes with the Dengar theme. I used Dengar, Boba, because I'm going for the new capital ship. They're all relicked and ready to go, and I put in Moff Gideon with that squad. So sometimes with those teams that
Who's
really
the lead?
Dengar. So you got reduced damage from Dengar from the crit chance, crit damage, and then you get demoralized with Moff Gideon. It really just stops those hard hitting teams, and then it lets Boba just have enough time to really just push out that damage. It was a solid team for me on offense. As for a lot, I want to say those Djangos, especially Djangos, because Djangos really scare me.
Well, he comes out the gate hitting hard under a Separatist team.
Yeah, so at least I can kind of slow him down a little bit with the Moff Gideon demoralize, and then also the reducing his crit chance and crit damage, so he doesn't hit me as hard. But even then, he still hits hard. But other than that, he would still just demolish that team. And I got to say, for the defensive end, a team that I really enjoyed, oldie but goodie, I think I talked about this last time too, was Rex Lead, 5, Embarrass, and then the Hux, Red Trooper, and Stormtrooper. Teams everybody knows, but they were really solid for me on defense because of the defense I put down. It really exhausts everything. So by the time they come back to deal with these guys, they don't have as much, and those are the ones that really get the holds. Not the GLs, not the Chupios, not the JKLs. It's those teams that really stop them in their tracks.
You want a laugher? And I've proven it. It's science. On my alt account, my Chupio is gear 11, my Han Solo is 10, and my Chewbacca is 8.
Okay.
Who do you think I put in the lead?
Wait. You probably put New Bach in the lead, yeah?
New Baka, he actually stacks us. I proved it. Me and Wolf are doing some science with it. He actually stacks himself. So I use 3 Chupio with Han Solo and Chewbacca. And my 3 Chupio, I modded this guy so good. I don't know how I got it right. I'm still trying to figure out how I got it right, but he hits like a damn truck, man.
No, yeah,
like
he'll
an
stack
absolute
his own
truck.
stats, which is
He
really
stacks
cool.
his own stats, yes. So 3v3, as you know, you don't have to use leaderships. And in essence, he actually has a freaking leadership. So, would you do that if Han Solo was G12? Yeah, I still would do it because Han Solo doesn't have a lead. At least Chupio's stacking himself. You know what I'm saying? It's the other two can't stack themselves. If you're gonna take CLS, put it somewhere else, Chupio is an option as a leadership. I don't care if he's gear 6 or if he's gear relic 7. He's still an option as a leader to stack himself. Pro tip.
This is a long time ago, but one of my servers asked me, like, I have nothing left to take out this team. Like, what do you got? And he showed me his roster. I'm like, do Nubaka lead with R2 and 3PO. And he's like, that doesn't make any sense. There's no damage on the team. Like, there's a lot of damage on the team. And he's like, I was like, that's not gonna work. I'm like, do you have anything to lose? And he's like, no, just try it. He slaughtered it, and now that's one of his normal offensive teams.
That's awesome.
That's an awesome little trick. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, any rebel that is in the leader spot, he'll take 40% of their stats. Whether it's him, whether it's rebel without a lead, doesn't matter
who it is. Yep, even himself. Yep,
that's scary.
So he's basically just almost doubling himself. It's kind of scary.
And then he'll give it to the rest too. He'll give the 20% to the rest of the team as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I really do like how they've been giving a lot of the newer characters uniques that are essentially leaderships.
Yes. Yep, I agree.
That's a big thing with him. All right, well, cool. I think we're kind of moving into the last section here, and that is actually, before we get into this, Tilo, leg day, hit it.
All right, let's do
Leg
it.
day.
Wasn't ready. Not just playing.
New phone who this just played. Let's talk leg day organic base life forms.
All right.
All right. So now we're moving on to the leg day section, and basically what we're going to talk about now is this is more so roster management. So we talked about some ideas for teams or for mods, and then kind of the last section for what's coming up. Now we're looking at like what upgrades are you making? What was your recent relic? What was your recent galactic legend that you unlocked, or what was a character that you just put a Zeta on? Like, what was something that happened in the last month going for the future?
I'm assuming that's me first.
Whoever wants
Slacker.
Really, yeah.
Slacker. I just opened him up recently. I am 3 to 10 out of the ultimate. Made a few boo-boos and not having the right mods when I went for it. Stuff like that. I think I talked about that already. I put a couple on Bando to kind of improve the ship. Currently, because we just did a huge guild merger, we took 2 of ours with 2 others, made a big old merger for the battalion. And in order for me to stay at the competitive level, I have got to start working toward cams. So I am looking at moving to Shock T and clones up some more. And what was the other one? Yeah, I brought my Padme. That's what I did. I just took my Padme on 2 accounts, all up to Relic 5 to make her viable for light side and for a little bit of help with the sea pit. So, yeah, those low relic days are coming to an end, Calvin. My reputation has been officially ruined.
I still think you'll maintain it to some point because everyone else around you, they're going to do it as well, and they're also going to do it on random stuff.
Yeah, they're more random than mine. Yeah, I agree.
So I think that might go down a little bit, but I don't think it'll ever officially go away. And I say for the both of us, really.
No,
like
I just
honestly,
I say just give my community hell.
I have to R5 Danger for Executor. So do you. So we'll break even.
Yeah. Are you? That's a question. Are you guys both getting the new capital ship when it comes back out?
I am. Yeah.
No, I don't. I can't get Relic 8 yet. We did with that guild merger. We were 8% from beating Crank Core today, but all of our merged people weren't there, so I think we're going to get it. So I'm a little bit off pace, but I'm okay with that because I don't think I need to rush. I'm not spending wildly to get there, but I am definitely that is my next project.
Yeah,
the GLs can right there. I'm going to get in my ship harder, bro.
I don't want a lot of ships. I want Executor. I have enough crystals banked that I think I can take him right to 6 stars too.
Ooh, that's nice. You're gonna be higher than me. I was excited that it came out because my original plan was get C, that would be my 4th GL, and then gear up another capital ship so that I have some flexibility. And it just happened to be that ship popped up right there, so that stopped me from getting Home One or one of these other ships that really juiced them up. And then I'll be in the same position I was going to be anyways with basically the new meta. So I'm happy for that one.
If I can say from your standpoint, Calvin, because you feel like your ships are weak, just by taking the Executor, you instantly make yourself incredibly viable because you can slam that thing on defense. You know whether they're going to be able to take it down 95% of the time. You don't even have to ship harder anymore. They actually gave it to you. If you're going to relic harder, you've done instantly shipped harder. So, yeah.
So, something that might make you and probably a lot of other people sad, Mort, is though that baby's probably going on offense every single time.
What?
I'm putting that mess on defense. I'm saying
I
deal with
should
it.
put it on defense. I should put it on defense, but it's not my style. Like I'm tired of taking malevolence on defense and always getting 58, 57 banners with it. Like I would rather take the Executor, let my ground hold, which it usually does, not always, and then go and get a 65 or something against whoever they put down.
I'm really contemplating just putting the Executor and Negotiator on defense and being like, deal with that.
Oh, I could never do that.
Sir, Calvin, I would like to point out you're currently full clearing every round, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
With your current ship status, correct?
Yes.
So why would you worry about getting more banners on the offensive side? Why not put it in defense and guarantee your wins 93% of the time?
7 more banners. That is the
7 more
cruel
banners.
and unfortunate answer.
Greedy son of a bitch. Okay, moving on.
It
All
is. And it legitimately, it could backfire for me, especially if someone puts. This is actually might have to change my style because if someone puts their, let's say, 7-star Executor on defense, and I try to take my 6-star in it and I lose, not only is it not on defense, but I don't full clear. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if I'll be able to do it 100% of the time, but for most of the time I'm going to be doing it.
You've heard it here. If Calvin in the next 2 rounds after getting Executor does not put it on defense once, I'm gonna say I told you so. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna give it to him. I'm teasing. You play your way, brother.
No, but that's a scary thing about that capital ship is if you don't put it on defense and somebody else has it on the other side and you guys have the similar stats, you're basically rolling it on a coin flip if you're going to go for it.
It's not good. And that really bugs me, but there is no solution.
So
there is no, if someone puts down their 7-star maxed Executor on defense, there is no 100% solution to one-shot it, and that sucks.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing. So I'm banking on people that I face don't have it.
I tell people all the time, plain and simple, I will not gamble on a win unless the opponent is that much better than me and I have to do it. That's the only time I will gamble on a win. Calvin's the difference. Like he's like, I'm going all in. I'm going after this. I want that number 1 spot. I'm getting it. And like I said, I got GAC envy over it. I was gonna say something else envy, but I'm a big fan of knowing I'm 100% gonna win this fight, pending me doing something absolutely ignorant. And that's the way I play. And that's where I started the whole defensive strategy. I don't care about number 1, right? Tilo has a little bit. Tilo's drooling a little bit when he thinks about that number 1 spot. But Calvin's teeth, he's got to have it. He's had it for so long, he's got to have it. And I don't blame him. Once you get there and you get a taste of it, yeah.
I will. I'll just have to say this. I disagree with someone in chat about they said negotiator mirrors the same. It's not. There is no negotiator comp you can put down that either malevolence or negotiator can't beat, even if it's a coin flip. That starting, you can change, like there's like 3 or 4 different starting lineups. There is a combo that can one-shot every single one of them with a 98% accuracy. And I say 98% because if you get screwed on them throwing, if your buff immunity doesn't land, if they dodged or defensive. But even straight negotiator versus a negotiator, like, for example, someone puts down the 5s variant. If someone puts down the 5 variants, I take the Rex variant. If someone puts down the Rex variant, I take the Houndstooth variant. If someone puts down the Ahsoka variant, I also do the Houndstooth variant. So there's different ways to mix it up. Executor doesn't have that option.
Truth. But once you have the executor, you no longer have the houndstooth option either.
For the negotiator. Yeah, I've been trying to mount malevolence with Ebon Hawk a lot in arena, and I can get it to work sometimes. I can always kill something. But I really can't say it's consistent.
It's not. I'll let you know that right now. It's not.
100%. Not.
Because I bank on that. Because I put negotiator on defense pretty much this whole last season, and I was like, deal with that. Hopefully it gets a hold or strips banners, or it'll scare them. Well, he basically used it as a scary tactic for my opponent. They know it's coming. It was on my defense pretty much this whole season. So keep something because you're going to need it over there. Don't put something over there because I might still clear it, and then you're definitely going to not have anything to clear my negotiator. But I banked a lot on my finalizer, and it went through most of the time, but every once in a while, things get a little wacky with that capital ship.
I'm seeing the malevolence. I was just going to type it, but I'm seeing the TIE bomber find its way into negotiators and malevolences now, and they're actually doing pretty good work. I lost the one yesterday. Surprised me. Granted, it was on my baby account, but
I've seen those in TW. They
threw me off a bit.
They really wreck rebels, and they give negotiator problems as well. But yeah. As far as my as far as my changes for this next GAC, I really haven't. I should actually be looking at my account. I really haven't made any. I'm in the process of building up to really, really big things, and with that happening, it means I haven't done anything. Like I unlocked Cam 7 stars in an hour and a half, and he's going right to R7. So
that's awesome.
I mean, that's happening. I'm slow farming Bad Batch. They're all like 5-6 stars right now. So I mean, that's something that's going to happen for a while. Dark is about to hit 7 stars. Can't do him yet. All of Executors Rex, I'm going to be hitting those as well. I legitimately, I don't think I've done anything in the last month. Like, actually, did we get Cat in the last month? I mean, I did.
Yeah, you have. You've been modding. I know you've been modding.
I
Don't tell me you
changed.
haven't.
That's true. Oh, that's a good point, Mort. I remodded Vader because with the changes that came through recently, his modding, depending on what you were doing before, is completely shifted. One of Vader's big problems before this was his crit chance was kind of crappy. Like, you really had to stay on top of it if you wanted to consistently crit, even inside Merciless. And now it doesn't, like, it almost doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter.
Because he gets 50% for the Merciless now, which he already has a base of 50, so he's already at 100. And Cole also now gets 50% on it. So even if you're in Merciless or out of Merciless, your Cole is always going to hit it, and your basic is going to always hit it in Merciless.
So are you putting crit damage on the triangle now?
Oh yeah, that was the big change. I made a few smaller changes, but that was the big thing. I swapped out his crit chance triangle for a crit damage one, and that it hasn't entirely made up for the big nerf that was on his Cole, but it definitely helps. And for what I was using him for, which granted was not impressive, I used him to kill Geo's Night Sisters and Mon Mothma, for example. I wasn't using him to kill the occasional DR. Never a Galactic Legend. No, I other counters for the other teams. But the difference now is the same for those teams. Like, I was fighting a Geo team last week, and I went to Cole Spy. Cole didn't kill Spy with like 4 debuffs, which was super sad. And I was so mad at the game, and like, all right, let's just go through this. And I target soldier, basic, kill him.
Yes.
And the end result was the same because my basic just killed 3 characters. And then by the time I came around to GBA for the second goal, he died because they had no health pool left. To share with. So Vader is the big one I changed. Ditch crit chance, put as much speed, potency, offense, and then crit damage in the set and primary. As much as that stuff as you can and call it good.
I'm gonna agree with you wholeheartedly that my first priority is gonna be crit damage because your offense ain't gonna do dick without crit damage, pardon my French. And then your potency's gotta land them dots. And without landing them dots, you're in deep doo-doo. Followed by offense for me last. That's my thought process on it. But those 3 are going to be the clutch ones And I used to tell people all the time, everybody I saw before it, it's so funny. People are naturally going to have good Vaders now because everybody I'd look at had a crit damage. I'm like, how are you going to crit when you don't have a chance to crit? How's it going to have a possibility? I don't understand your thinking. And everybody's like, I guess that kind of makes sense.
This is going to be redundant. One critical moment to get a crit that you don't hit, you lose.
Yeah, you lose. You lose. Yeah. Yeah. And there's enough RNG in this game? You're going to go ahead and play to that?
No, you want to limit it. And I agree wholeheartedly as well with your order. You say crit damage first. That I think that is wholeheartedly, that has to be it. And the big reason for that is there's tons of other Empire mechanics, whether it be Thrawn lead, PS, Emperor's Trap, etc., that order your build offense. So you already have mechanics, or actually Vader Lead does this
or
too.
Speed. Yeah.
Yep. You already have mechanics in the game that are working towards your offense. So you have a strong base. You need to have a good multiplier. There's no, as far as I know, there's no Empire lead that gives crit damage. So that's the thing you need the most. I also agree with potency more because now an enemy with 2 or 3 debuffs, a basic does more damage than the coin blade. So if you're not landing,
protection.
If you can't land a debuff, your coin blade does nothing.
Nothing.
So
I didn't change much to my Vader. My Vader always, I know you guys talked about crit damage, but I always had an offense set on him. A nice speedy offense set, and I always ran crit damage triangle on him. I ran a crit chance set on him. Just changed that to potency now.
Yes, nice. There you go.
But he's still real beefy with offense. Even after the changes, I know a lot of people were complaining about him. I was still being able to one-shot characters once he went into Merciless.
I need mine R7. That might be my problem.
That helps too. Mine's R7, but
I refuse to bring him to 7 now.
Where is it? Where is yours at, Mort?
1, 3, and 3.
Okay, all right. So I'm a little above you. I'm at 5. Big old number there.
He's one of those characters that I really think he needs an R7. I don't know about now with the changes, but I still think he's going to be able to take out some decent stuff on offense.
I succeed mods that I'm not going to use on him now, which kind of pisses me off, but it is what it is.
Pilot mods. Those are going on my Cad Bane and my IG.
There you go. Good point. Pilot mods. When he says pilot mods, think of it, guys. Put your gold mods on your pilots, and whether they're worthy in the character or not, put them on your pilots and make sure ship's viable.
Yep,
100%. I always forget that. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, that's just what a lot of them are going to. But
yeah,
I think that was the big modding thing for me. Other than I think I modded Cat. I switched my DR mods back after 3v3 was over. Chewbacca I did last month. I'm pretty sure.
I don't do enough of this, guys. I love talking stuff like this. I don't do enough of this with you guys online. Oh my god, I love it.
I don't do this.
It makes me realize I'm not as dumb as I think I am.
What about you, Mort?
Sorry.
No, you go.
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
I was just say, what about Mort? What did you do to your roster for this upcoming season?
So I haven't touched it yet because I worked a weekend shift. That's going to be tough. I'm going to have to do it all tomorrow night during join period. We're for sure going in. I don't even know. Is it for sure 5v5? Anybody seen?
I think it has to be.
Yeah. I haven't seen any announcements, but
I haven't either.
I think more than anything, I'm trying to bring I just worked on my first order because I realized real fast that my hooks wasn't fast enough for the slacker. So I'm learning that slacker squad to make it a little bit better, especially without the ultimate. And then I am wanting to remod gas. I'm running to remod Vader. I think I already did my Vader, if I'm not mistaken, but I forgot to add potency because as we're sitting here talking about it, I told myself to do it, didn't do it. So yeah, basically all the ones that just got the changes are my priority. I'm very happy with my modding, considering my mods are nowhere near where they should be. I think I've done a good job of getting where they need to be in order to make them viable as a balanced squad. But these new changes, I need to update 100%. That is my goal.
Yeah.
Especially for 5v5.
Any new characters you're going to have this season that you didn't have last season or the tail end of last season?
Yeah, I'm going to have Bando only at gear 8, but he's going to have both Zetas, and he's held on defense before. That's a nasty little team.
I like him a lot on defense, especially if you have him clocked properly.
Yeah.
It'll surprise a lot of people, especially with the notion out there that he's garbage.
Oh, yeah.
He's obviously proven he's not garbage. But you start talking about clocking, that's above my head. I'll have to figure it out. But New ones. So I'm straight out on Executor. That's what I'm on right now. I'm farming all the Executor tunes, mostly free to play. Let me ask you guys this question: Night Sisters, do you put them on defense? Do you put them on offense? 3v3 specific. You don't use Night Sisters.
I don't.
Impressive.
I min-maxed them for the heroic Sith raid to be able to get them, but after they're really actually in 3v3 I'll use them sometimes on defense, but they're the team that I try to avoid using because they're pretty easy to kill and they never get high banners.
No, they never get high banners. I mean, they can strip banners 100%. That's why I enjoy them. But I hear people say all the time, people are still using Night Sisters at your level. And I was like, yeah. Then they look and they're like, they got a hold? Well, yeah, they got a hold. I mean, like my Night Sisters.
I think
again, depending on your matchmaking GP, if it is low, I mean, Night Sisters were a team that I stopped using 6 months ago.
That's probably true because you're at the higher end of relic size, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. There's got a lot to do with it.
And I think
sorry, go to though.
No. I was just to say, I think it's almost like a basketball team. It's like, what number on the bench is your Night Sister? Is it your 6th man or is it your 9th or 10th man on your board? If it's one of those lower teams where it's like your 10th or around there on I would say priority, then yeah, it would be okay on defense. But for me, I think if they're too valuable on offense, they're one of those teams that can take out a grip of teams, a lot of flexibility, GGs, all sorts of other crazy teams that you can take out. Yeah. And it's not going to get you good banners. I know that.
I like them against Geos. They're really good against Geos. If you know how to counter that, it's really it's not fail proof, but it's really good against the Geos. And it's a nice one to be able to take them out without a big investment. Like my highest relic, Visage is G12. The rest of mine, except for Daka's, I think Relic 3 now because on a bet she was Relic 1. But I took her to Relic 3 recently. Everybody else is G10 and G11. Cheap investment to take out full freaking Geos.
And I mean, that's nice. You can death storm a lot of stuff with that. Where you just let the whole rest of the team die, and then eventually Asajj just cranks it up.
Yes.
And they're one of those teams that you can easily break them up. Maybe you just want to use Zombie and Daka on the team, or you want to use someone else over there or over here on offense. I think they have a lot of versatility with that squad.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to see because I hear a lot of people say, "How are you still using Night Sisters?" But I don't always set them on defense, but very often I look at a matchup and I'm like, "Yep, he don't know how to play Night Sisters. Here we go," and I set him down. So anyway, there I go, taking over the show again. My bad.
No. That's a good question right now.
No, you're good. And again, Kmart said this, and I 100%. This is I don't know if this is sad or impressive, but he said that the Acolyte cheese still holds. It does. Like we're so far into 3v3. Like this has been done so many times, and people fall into it multiple times. It surprises me. It surprises me so much.
There's one reason why it holds, and we've all fallen for it. Why didn't I bring AOE in on that? God damn it! What was I thinking?
Someone bring Jedi Knight Luke, Shakti, and Ezra. Against that cheese team, and they lose because they don't have a single AOE.
No.
So yeah,
that's wild.
I love it.
Fun.
That is fun. I'm digging that one wholeheartedly.
All right, Fort. Thank you. Let's see. If you have anything else you would like to say, I was going to let Fort or Mort pimp his stuff.
No, I was just gonna do my leg day.
Sorry, my bad.
No, you good. I did.
Let's work it out.
Huh?
Let's work it out. Leg day.
Yeah. Too much upper body for me. Not just like. No, I got all the requirements for the new capital ship. That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna try to figure out what I'm gonna do with my bounty hunters. I'm gonna try to keep Django on a separatist squad. So we'll see what happens with that in 5v5. I think I could maybe make it work. I'm going for JMK. Like you guys all know, JMK is S tier with Lord Vader, so I don't have him. I'm really scared of next season running into him, especially at my top 80, top 100, or whatever the matchmaking is. I'm probably going to see him a lot, especially in Division 3, so I'm a little bit scared. I don't want to use my JML Titan team against it. So I'm pretty close. I'm looking at it right now. I only need 5 more characters a relic. I had the majority of them were already relics, so that was really nice for me. It's just I'm gonna have to try to get him as soon as possible because that's gonna make arena a little bit easier too. Because that team is nasty. Other than that, I'm gonna have JML's ultimate. I think either today or tomorrow. So he'll be the last GL with the ultimate, and that's pretty much it for me. Modding wise, I'm taking my Darth Revan back to the fastest. I had Bastila the fastest for the longest to really stop a lot of these counters, but Darth Revan's going to go back to 352 and really just be a pain. So that's pretty much it, though, for leg day for me.
Cool. Are you? I don't have her faster, but I still have my faster set on Bastila Shan Fallen just for the mirrors. If anyone wants to do that, do you have her like legitimately slow, or what's the idea there? Because I'm guessing she was faster because of Vader, and Vader's doable but very difficult.
I still don't think I'm going to fight a lot of people with that skill set to be able to pull that off.
Unless you face Fatal.
Oh yeah, never mind.
I'm agreeing with you. You're very likely not going to go against someone who has that skill set.
No, so I still have her pretty decent. I'm looking at it right now. She's 322 still, so still decently fast. Yeah.
She's still fast. I mean, that's about the same as mine.
So I'm hoping a couple of these guys, maybe my Darth Revan goes, and even my Bastila will go before their Darth Revan. So a lot of times I would see them around 320 or lower. So I think that's going to be some problems if they come up with a mirror match right there.
Yep. Or you get them to burn their newly reworked gas for like 53, which is cool too.
Yeah. Or use a GL against it. I'm okay with that too. Do a solo SOKR.
I love doing that, man.
I don't have stones yet.
There are some ins and outs to it, Mort. If you want to like send me a message if and when you get there, but it's safe most of the time. There are a few comps, there are a few moddings that screw it up, but they're actually. Yeah. I was going to ask this before and I forgot. How do you have your SLKR modded?
I am forced to mod. I have 2 now, so I have one with the ultimate, one without. Like I said, almost the same time. My main has got the non-ultimate. I could not afford the mods, unfortunately. I was super proud. I'm like, man, my 3.5-year-old account, I got mods coming out of my wazoo, and then I started realizing I do not have Slacker coming out of my wazoo. So if I remember right,
you have to take off your best mods to get there.
Yeah. And well, actually, taking my best mods still didn't get me where I wanted to take him. So that's what really irritated me. I ended up putting speed mods with crit damage on my main. And on my alt, I was actually super excited because that is only a 2-year account that gets great rolls on mods. That account loves mods. It just rolls everything. It's just like a gifting gift. It just gifts. I know it's because it's named after my wife. So that's why. The lucky dog. But that one's modded with offense, crit damage, even speed to boot. That one's way better. Way better. Trying to remember everything I put on her, but yeah, it's mostly going for offense, speed, crit damage. And health. Oh yeah, of course, health. That's awesome. Yeah, so that one's really good. My main is crying. And I honestly won't put the ultimate on him until I feel like his mods are good enough. Because it's almost like punishment, but at the same time, why add the 10,000 GP when he's going to be a piece of shit? Sorry, my French.
No, there's definitely there is some science there, and there's a lot of occasions. I think the majority of the times you need the ult is versus other Galactic Legends. Pretty much every even soloing like DR, he doesn't need the ult.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that. All right, we good to go, Tilo? Good to call it a night.
I'm good. I just had 2 more questions. If you guys want to do them real quick, you can make it real short. We don't have to make it a crazy tangent. I just want to see how you guys are doing with Conquest, and what's your thoughts on all the changes in general, everything.
Oh, you sure you want to hear that?
I think it's so prevalent. People want to know.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at 6 million bloated. I'm sitting at 4.2 million bloated, both doing the hard mode, and then of course I got the baby account. All of them are just now approaching the mall sector 4. I've taken plenty of battle losses. I have not tried to defeat one bit. I'm trying to get as many shards as I can to get Commander Ahsoka, eventually Maul, etc. I am not chasing the red box, shamefully. What is there, 640 to get the red box, I think? I think I'm in Sector 4, about to hit Maul. I'm literally about to hit Maul, and I've got 167 burritos right now. 167. That's how many feats I've done. No red box for me. We'll never get the red box. 3 accounts, ain't happening. Get that out of here. I have a lot to say about the conquest. But go on.
So my big gripe about it, and I've said it a few times, I like the. Hopefully I don't get killed here. I really like the new feats. I like the refresh. I like the mini bosses they put in the middle. I'm really glad to have it back. I missed Conquest. I think it's a really fun game mode even now. What I hate about it, and that bugs me in general, and about where I'm at in it, is they have made it so that even if you are the smartest person in the world with the biggest wallet and the biggest roster, you have to spend crystals. That is so dumb. That is dumb. I think that's my problem. That's my big problem. If they could reduce the energy cost back to 16, or maybe even lower, if they could find like the perfect person, like the Loki with a 9 million account who is theory crafting, like as long as he doesn't have to pay crystals, I think that's fair. Even he has to pay crystals. That's so dumb. That bugs me so much.
4 to 5 refreshes before the end in order to actually do it. You'd have to pay 250 crystals, I think, is what my estimate is, if you were perfect.
Exactly. That's the minimum. So me, right now, not doing it perfectly. I'm not the best theory crafter in the world. I do not have the largest roster in the world. I'm having to spend 2 to 3 refreshes of the 50s every single day, and I don't know if I'm going to hit it. And I'm okay with having to spend a few refreshes. I had to spend a few refreshes, not every now and then in the old one. That's fine. My account, I don't deserve the red box for free. My account isn't there. Yeah. I don't put the time into Conquest to be able to deserve it. But again, my problem is, even if I aspired to, I couldn't. Even if Loki aspires to, or someone with an account like his aspire to, they can't. And that's dumb. That's a huge fatal flaw.
Tilo, I see you're going to say something, but I just want to say I love your attitude about it, Calvin, because I say the same thing all the time. My 6 million bloated account does not deserve to get the top box. It's there for a reason. It's for the spenders. It's for the people who actually put in the effort, want to put them big ass things, big ass relics in there. That's all for them. If I can get halfway there, I'm good. I'm fine with that, because
if I need to pay extra to get there, I'm okay with that.
Yes.
There are people that have invested more in this than I have that deserve it.
Yeah.
But
go ahead, Tilo. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the same thing. I'm doing 50 refreshes, and some of these feats are just not mid-max friendly.
It's just the amount of them. It's just the amount of them. If they get, in my opinion, if they want to keep the engagement and drop that, they just need to drop the energy. But
yeah. I don't know. I mean, how many conquest battles are there? There's probably what? 25 per stage. So what? 125.
Yeah.
And we're getting at the refresh energy amount we're getting per day is the same as Cantina energy, battle energy, right?
Yeah.
So mathematically, it's impossible. Even if you were if you wanted to take Slacker and just I'm going to do Slacker every stage. You what would you get to the end of stage 2 by the time the 2 weeks is up?
I think
even a GL can't help you.
I think you get a little farther in that, but again, like you said, you're at phase 4 and you don't even have 1/4 of the burritos for the red box. It's the feats that'll eventually get you. And again, I'm okay with the feats. I'm okay that they want me to get kills with Bad Batch. I'm okay that they want me to take in a full squad of bounty hunters in phase 1. That's okay. But the amount of the feats combined with the cost of the energy is it's broken. In my opinion, it should not be this way.
Yeah,
I concur.
Yes, and I was going to say the same thing. I completely agree with concurred. You should have to spend crystals to get Maul and Cat, and I'm completely fine with that. The only thing is, it sucks because I feel like I'm gonna be able to spend crystals and still not get them as fast as I feel like maybe I should be, kind of. but I don't know. It just depends. Some of those feats are really really nasty, and the energy is a really really big problem right
The
there.
energy is the problem.
Yep.
Like I want
Huge
to play this
problem.
game mode. I do. But if I have to drop 150 crystals on it every day just to play it.
Yeah, it's the energy refresh too. It's like Cantina, and then the cost of energy. Everything's 20 now.
Yep.
So for me, I struggled against the turn meter. That 700 turn meter. I was trying different teams, and I don't know how many crystals I spent right there. It wouldn't happen, and there was no indicator of letting me know how close I was.
Yeah.
So
That's a
me right
long
there.
running problem.
Yeah, that killed me. Just the amount of energy, and then yeah, it's just energy, and the energy regen is a problem.
I concur.
All right, so there's our conquest. Last thing, changes. You could
Fix
just say
it.
how you feel.
Fix it. I'm sorry. What was the last part?
Changes. Well, all the kit changes, all the nerfs.
The kit
buffs.
changes for them. I would just rather they didn't happen. We'll learn, we'll adapt, we'll move forward. The counters will change, the modding will change. But I think they did more damage to the community long term. And again, you can probably pick and choose which ones were acceptable and which ones weren't. I don't think Vader needed his Coin Blade nerf. Wat Tambor can't make him ignore defense, and Thrawn can't hold Rey's hands behind her back. Vader's barely killing Rey anymore already. But I think they did more damage long term than they did good as far as PR goes.
From a standpoint of a guy who just was super excited because his alt account was about to open gas 2 days after they changed all the defense penetration and all that stuff, and I realized very quickly, very, 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 very quickly, that you are not getting gas without relic characters now. It ain't happening. There was a day that I don't know how you can say it's easier. We could sit down and explore it. I would love to see your view of it, but from what I saw, I cannot get through it one bit. He's getting from 10% to 20% his protection recovery. There was multiple times I never even got a turn. He sat down, clones killed me, stood back up, never got a turn. It's mind blowing to me.
Well, actually, now going back to what you were saying though. Even before the changes, where you said you have to have like relic characters, yeah.
Yep.
Even before the changes, for someone to do it with only Gear 12s, it was like a 9-hour process.
It was very long process.
I would never recommend. I mean, if someone wants to do it for the challenge, go for it. But I would never recommend anyone try to do the gas with no relics or no Gear 13s even.
I'm trying to remember. I've got I tried to do with all G12s and it wasn't happening. I bumped one up to relic. I think Droidica was at relic 1. And I couldn't get him fast enough.
Even that sounds difficult even after the changes though.
Yeah. He's standing up so fast. Like the rest of it, the Padme event, I got through it no problem because I got my relic Padme up to all of them are basically relic 5 now. That was a smoker. But excuse me, that event, he stands up so fast. There are many times you don't even get a turn. He stands right back up. It's insane. So for me, right now, I wish it wouldn't have happened, but it is what it is. Like you said, we'll adapt. We'll figure it out. But it's another thing that CG did, and I hate being negative about it because I've been so positive about them. It's chasing the money again, and it's irritating me. And I don't mind chasing the money. The whales support the game. But when you start making the free-to-play consider leaving or spending, that's a problem.
There are a ton of spenders that are leaving it over this, just because.
Yes.
I mean, these are things, and I agree, it is a push for money because they want the newest thing to be for you to pay for it. Because why buy the new thing if the old thing still works? But I mean, Whale still paid for gas when he came out. Whale still paid for who's a Jedi Knight Luke when he came out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it was a good move overall.
No,
but again, I could nitpick and tell you which ones I thought were good and which weren't. But overall, I think this did more harm than it did good.
100%. It kills the I want to say the long-term investment, because if you set the precedent of not be allowing some of these off-meta counters, you're killing those people that get really invested into the game. And that with these off-meta counters, let it be mods, let it be gearing up some of these characters that maybe aren't the most viable in the meta, but they're going to allow you to do some stuff with off-meta counters. You just make it GL versus GL, and then the rest versus the rest, and it kind of makes it I don't want to say stale, because it's still going to be a fun game mode. It just it kills that reward factor in GAC.
I agree with you there too. Yeah, because and that was the thing. Like a lot of these off-meta counters, like granted there were a few, but like most of them were kind of difficult to pull off, depending on the comp that the enemy put down. Like I know that for the more difficult raid comps, you needed like a relic IPD. I don't want a relic IPD. Like if this guy over here was to go in relic. Sorry, I guess I'm pointing out Mort. If this guy over here was to go in relic his IPD to beat Ray with Vader, like power to him. I don't want to do that. And so the guy does that. He goes and invests in this other random character as like little to no value outside of that team. Like, let him beat the Ray.
Yeah, but now what happens? What happened to those people that invested into their IPD now? What are you going to do with it? Yeah, because it kind of sucks.
I mean, honestly, he's almost useless with the relic levels now. He's almost useless. His damage is so pathetic compared to what it used to be.
I know a lot of people, Tilo, what you were saying, that were really into the game, that like really worked on off-meta counters to be able to climb an arena, and they can't. And a lot of them feel helpless because there is this huge fear in the community right now that whatever comes up that is going to off-meta counter GLs is going to get hammered. We don't know if that's necessarily true, but the fear of it kills the fun.
Yeah, and the thing is now they're treating other GLs with higher priority than the older GLs. They're now on an S tier with JMK and Lord Vader, and now A tier is the rest of the GLs, and everything else is below that. Like they're even killing counters from GLs to GLs.
Yep.
So it makes it difficult at times, and I get where some of these people's mindset are. It's just, I hope things change, and I think it will. I think they hear everybody, but they can't.
I agree too. I don't think they're willing to risk. They see the numbers. I don't know actually how many people are quitting. I don't know if it's 1%, if it's 5%, if it's 10%. I don't think really anybody does except them. They're going to look back and see this and know what they can and can't do in the future.
Yeah.
Majority of the people, I've said this before, that are talking about quitting were already on the edge of quitting anyway. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, a lot of them were. Yeah.
See ya, adios. But I also know people that are coming back since Lord Vader came out. So there's a split base on the way that's happening. And the one thing I will say, and I've been bashing CG a little bit tonight, which is not normally my style, but the one thing I will say they've done a great job of is reaching out for feedback and listening. But when it comes down to listening, and they've done it recently, really good job of that, and actually implementing, you got to continue to implement from the listening. Of course, not everything we throw you is going to be viable, but the big stuff. Yeah. And I'll say it till the end of time. Your free-to-play are as important as your whales. Your whales support the game. Your free-to-play market the game.
Yep. I will 100%. I think they've been really good with communication. At the end of the day, they need to make money, and that's fine. They've always needed to. They're a business. But I think they have missed the balance between hearing what the player – because I'm going to be honest, a lot of the player-based ideas that are given to CG are crap. Like they're like, oh, just like give us this for free. No, like we can't just do that. And that like one of the things that I hear a lot is people wanting to essentially kill the gear crunch. You kill the gear crunch, the game dies.
Yep.
Like you can alleviate it to some extent.
Yes.
But anyways, a lot of the changes that came through, CG does need to listen and they need to make money, but I feel like they definitely missed the middle ground on this last one. I think they did more harm than they did good.
And all it takes is a couple of marquees, a couple of maybe reworks, and we're back to a good spot. I think it's really going to come down to a little bit of tweaks here and there, and we'll be fine. It's just
remember how exciting Grievous was?
Yeah, Grievous was awesome.
His second rework was. His first one, there were a lot of people that were very upset about it, which was dumb because even his first one was good.
Better than it was.
Or even
whole lot
Vader.
better.
Even Vader's rework, how excited the whole community got.
Oh,
You know?
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was the biggest turn, and I think like the best point of CG's relationship with the community was started with Vader and ended with the last road ahead. Like they had a good about year and a half, maybe more. No, I think it's about a year and a half where they were honestly doing great. And of course, you still have people like complaining. I'm like, all right, go complain somewhere else. But
yeah. And like he's saying right now on camera, the nerf coming to the current Vader, which we all loved, everybody was good with it. Everybody was good with it. All brand new accounts. I told everybody, brand new accounts, get your Vader straight to Relic 1 immediately. You know what I mean? It's taking out Geo's solo, blah, blah. It's amazing. Plus, you got a ship to go with it, and now they've nerfed him. And it's like, and we talked about if you remod him properly, he's still good, but he's not the same guy. It's not the same guy. And unfortunately, that was part
he's
of.
still really good for a character you get for basically free.
Yeah.
Like there's like no investment required in a guy that will kill entire teams.
A really good point, Calvin. He comes basically free, and the ship does as well. It does.
Like,
I never considered that. That's a very good point. Very good point.
He's still. I mean, the fall is the issue.
But it's still people be given strength, and then
the fall.
You took away my power. You know. Yeah.
No, my main thing, it's not even it's the CGs want to make the newest thing impossible to beat, like JMK, Lord Vader.
Yeah.
That's the thing that is really because you wanted to have little weaknesses in there, so you give people a chance.
Yeah.
That way in GAC, like it still makes it a competitive mode on both sides.
Yeah.
What I've always liked and what I wish they would have kept is they generally always let the investment of the previous meta and creativity beat the current meta.
Yes.
And that's what kind of ticked me off about them nerfing C. I was okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you like this counter, but I was totally okay with them crushing the SOK or NS thing. That is a really old team that did not take any creativity. People would have been doing that forever. That should have that AI change should have been how JMK was originally when he came out. But C is a really new GL. Like there are people that just got done spending money on him, and the armor acolyte zombie weird thing or whatever, like GBA whatever was going on, that's new. So I don't like that because I mean this is the same thing when Jedi Knight Revan first came out. People were just using really tanky Traya and Thrawn, or when Darth Revan came out, people were using Jedi Revan and Thrawn. And now it's like you either have this or you don't, and that's not great.
Yeah, and I'm with Liquid right here. He says, like it or not, kits need power creep to prevent.
There has to be some. There has to be some. But I would still want at least one other thing to beat it.
They got to have that Achilles heel. The new meta has to have this Achilles heel to where there's something that can take it out.
And it always has. Every single meta has had a counter meta.
And maybe you need a character like IPD that you have to gear up. It takes investment on that too. That to be able to take out that squad. And for instance, like Calvin, you brought up the C. It was Acolyte. You had to invest into Acolyte. That's not a lot of people had her geared up, especially in our range right here. Maybe in the upper tiers, they probably had her
really
geared up.
Easy gear, at least until year 12.
Okay.
He's like, it was easy.
I didn't look at it because
armor is not. Armor is a new character, not accelerated, requires Kairos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lot of difference.
Yeah, that's my main gripe. Is just no Achilles heel on some of these new GLs. That's why you're almost forced. It doesn't matter where you are to go for one of these guys, and obviously it's probably going to be JMK just because the requirements are a little more friendly.
Yep.
And when it comes down to it, you made a very valid point. So they brought the Executor out, which their whole point was they nerfed it or they fixed it because it was getting beat, and now they're bringing out Lord Vader. They don't want it to be easily beat. So you're right. They're tired of us figuring out how to beat stuff too easily, which is crazy to me because my concept in this game has always been I will always appreciate this game as long as there is 1 to 2 teams to counter anything. Anything. There should always be something to counter something else. Something for me to look forward to. I don't care if it's Mon Mothma can beat a Rey. I don't give a shit what it is as long as there's something that is out there that I can farm to make my winning possible.
It's that counterpunch.
That's been the game model. That has been the game model for the longest time. It's been buy this now or try really stinking hard, get really creative, do a lot of research, and make it work. Those have always been the two options. And this is an awkward point for me because I'm at a point where I've done enough where I actually do have the new toy. Like I had JMK a week after he came out, but I feel like I have to say these things because when Ray first came out, I didn't have the resources. I'd use Darth Revan.
Yeah.
It's.
And then you kill the skilled players by doing that, because the skilled players are going to be the ones that go out there and go learn the counters. And you almost make it a little bit more vanilla in GAC, because you're going to have to make it, okay, this is the only team that takes out this team. I have to go here. But by having off-meta counters, you make some of these guys that really invest into the game and that really invest into their mods, the characters, really more focused on the game. And that's something that I for me personally, especially when you have it in Discord where you got somebody that's really on these off-meta counters, that's contagious. And you almost make the community come together.
Yeah.
So you kill that aspect in the community by making it so stagnant on some of these top-tier GLs.
I concur.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
all right, guys. I need to get going to bed. Obviously, great talk. If you couldn't tell
Yeah,
by the
good
way I
stuff.
was getting it, or at least good talk for me, the way I was getting into it.
I enjoyed every bit of this. I don't do enough of this. I wish life would
this was
give me
fun.
more of this. More. That's actually where my name comes from. Mort. I need more. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I appreciate all you guys for coming too, and everybody in the chat, especially for my channel, like having this much people here. Good stuff. Thank you for all the subs and the cheers and the follows. Everybody here, thank you guys a lot. And special thanks to Calvin for doing the show with me, and Mort for being the guest. Really good stuff. This is one of my favorite Mad Awesome shows we had.
Shut up! Quit kissing my butt. There's no reason for that. Get that out of here. I love you, man. Thank you. Halo, you've been a loyal follower of mine for a long time, man. And to see you grow and to see you like become what you have is amazing. And I know I only had like that much to do with it, but maybe it's what triggered you to do what you do now. And that, to me, that's amazing. And to get to know Calvin, I mean, I have watched you for a long time looking at who is this guy, Calvin Awesome? What an arrogant prick. Who is this guy? You know, who names himself that?
The name says it all. Who names himself that?
He's like, the name says it all, yeah. But I have watched him in his streams, and he's cool, collected, just a cool-ass cat, and I love it. I love it. And you never know. You just never know, you know? I wish I could have got to know Bus 74, his thought process, because to me, that guy was a bit of a genius, too. And Calvin, you were in that same class. I love it. And now knowing you're an accountant and everything else, the way your brain ticks, it explains even more to me, and I love it, man. Love it. Good dude. So glad I could be a part of this.
Thank you, Mort.
Absolutely.
If you want to put your stuff in the chat, Mort,
most of them know who I am. I'll just say it's here. Hold on a second. I'll give it to you. Fort Mort, fat ass, FOR.
Let me grab it real quick.
411 over on Twitch, and then we're just simple Fort Mort over on YouTube. I've been slacking on YouTube like a bad boy, but life's starting to come back together, so I'm trying to get my stuff back together to start doing things. I try to only do things that are viable rather than clickbait, and so I don't put as much as a lot of people do. But yeah, I look forward to it. If you guys ever want to do anything together, man, let's do it. This is a good talk. This is one of the best talks I've had in a long time. I really enjoyed this. I really did. Really did. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate all you guys. Good stuff. And if you guys didn't know, Fort Mort was the first time I was ever on camera for content creator. It was the show with him and That's No Moon. It was a fun time.
That's right. I forgot about that. Dude, I'll tell you what, I'm breaking barriers. Wolfie, first time on voice, first time on camera. Look at you guys, man. I'm growing kids, man. Look, I'm like growing weeds. I love it. At least I can say I've done something, even if I'm horrible at this game. I don't care. That's fine. Appreciate you guys.
And I put
36-0.
I put Fort Mort's a link to his Twitch in the chat, and I'm also going to put Calvin's as well. I should have these on command, but going to throw that in there.
Streaming is hard, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Really is.
Getting a little bit better at it.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for the 42 that are watching. Thanks for anybody in from the battalion. I've seen a bunch of you guys. What's up, Jigabachi? You guys are awesome. These are good people to support. Good people to support. So keep it up.
All right. All right, guys, and there's Calvin's right there. Good stuff. See you guys next time. Do this next season at the beginning of next season. But all right, guys, have a good one.
Stay
See you
awesome,
guys.
guys.
Bye, Felicia.